How are you doing? It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I might be a little bit rusty, but we're going to go for it. 1 second, Sky, up into your chair. Go on, go girl. Me dog. Um, so here we are. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I might be a little bit rusty, but we're going to go for it anyway. So I'm going to just answer a few questions that came up on the group, and we're going to see what happens, all right? So number one, the question that came up is, can we repeat the reverse around the corner if we make a mistake? Good question. Next, we have, what is the waiting list for XYZ test center? What's the best time to do your driving tests? That's a good one. Now, can I appeal me driving test? I'm not mad on that one. Next is turning right at the yellow box junction. A girl failed for moving up, but she's supposed to move up, so I don't know what happened there. I'm going to unfold that. Now, a girl got marked for checking her blind spot too much. Very important. I'm going to explain when to do that. Using the handbrake in the turnabout, don't really recommend it, but I'll talk about that. Do I use force and neutral at a red light, skipping down the gears, or what gear to stop in? All right. So here we go. The first one is, can we repeat the reverse around the corner if I make a mistake? That's a very good question. And the answer is yes. All right. You're allowed to repeat it once. If you make a mistake and you think you're going to hit the path or you've went too wide, you are allowed to stop, move forward slightly, and just fix it. Now, before you move forward, make sure you do a little blind spot look and fix it. And you're allowed to do it once. And I'm going to actually show you the marking sheet guideline here. So take a look at this. I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but it says, where did I see that? Oh, I can't remember where I seen that. So, where an applicant obliges on the rules and stuff. So it's in section B there. I'll type that out for you later on. So when a maneuver is aborted by blah 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 traffic conditions, another attempt should be permitted. So you're allowed to do once more. Where the vehicle is seriously out of position and the applicant requests another attempt, then they will be told that's not necessary. So if you're going wide or you're going to hit the path, stop, fix it, and then you get one more crack. Other than that, you'll probably fail your test. You will fail your test. Next is, this must come up on the group about 20 times a day. Waiting lists for this test center or that test center. And the answer is, I don't know the answer to that because all test centers are different wait times. The system, it's still relatively new. It's still kind of giving people dates before other people. I did do a TikTok about that, and someone explained how they done it. And I'm going to post that on the Facebook group later on. If you're not in the Facebook group, let me know and I'll send you the link before we end. And that seems to work very well. Now, one I can answer. What's the best time to do your driving test? I always tell people between the quarter past nine test or the 5 past 10 one. Them two are the best because everybody's in work, all the schools are in school, and the roads are nice and empty. Now, someone said, how do I appeal for my driving test? I don't recommend doing that. There's never once where I had a student fail their test and I encouraged them to appeal it. The people that fail that test, they cannot pass the test. So when they fail, they feel hard done by and they want to appeal. Trust me, if you could pass the test, you would pass the test. If you're failing and you're getting 25 grade twos, it means you're not ready to pass your test. So go back, fix the mistakes. Don't worry about appealing it. It's a waste of everybody's time and effort. Just fix it and then come back and sit it when you're ready. Now, turning right at the yellow box junction. This one is so important. And I'm going to show you the RSA marking sheet guideline. Hold on, because this is important. I don't know if you can see what's happening here. So we can see the section for progress. So you can see here for progress, the very first tree is all about when the light goes green or you get a green circle light, you're supposed to go up to the middle, and if there's oncoming cars, you stop with the front of your car in line with the centre line. I don't know if you can see that marking sheet guideline. It's really hard to see here, but that's what it's saying. That's what A, B, and C is. Green circle up to the middle. Very important. If you stay behind the line on a green circle, you'll get a grade 3 for progress at traffic lights. If you wait behind the line for a green arrow and a green light comes on, you'll get the same result because a green circle light means go up to the middle. If you have a green filter light, just go forward, look to the right, and if it's safe to do so, keep going. There is a video for that on my YouTube, and I went through a load of scenarios. Now, next, checking your blind spot all the time. So I'm going to show you another piece of the marking sheet guidelines, and it's for reaction to hazards. 1 second there, where is it? I think it was J. Lovely stuff. So if you see section J here, where an applicant makes exaggerated, unnecessary observations to the side or rear of the vehicle. So if you're driving down the road looking like this, the tester will be thinking, what are you doing? Just look where you're going. That's what I say in all my videos. Look where you're going. People tend to want to check their blind spot for cyclists, but it's not necessary. Your mirror will show you everything behind. The only time you need to check your blind spot is moving off from a park position. You can use GOSHO, or when you're changing lane. When you're changing lane, the observation, your blind spot is not like this. If you are driving down the road and you need to change lanes, if you're on a 60 or an 80 or even a 100 road, and if you look over your shoulder like that, it means you're not looking where you're going. For changing it, it's a quick look beside you and then look where you're going. So that was a good question. I like that one. Using the handbrake at the turnabout. So I don't recommend doing it because it's one more thing to do, but you have to be good at doing clutch control. So the handbrake is good when you're still struggling with the pedals and you're still coming off the brake first and then trying to find the bite. Then your handbrake may be ideal so you don't roll. A better way to do it would be use the foot brake, but instead bring your foot to the bike first and then you can come off the foot brake and then your car won't roll anywhere. That is a smoother way of doing it. It's called clutch control. But if you think you're going to roll, well, then you could use your handbrake, but it's just more work. What do we have here? So, at a red traffic light, should I use forced or neutral or in an automatic drive? In an automatic, just leave it in drive. In a manual car, if you're forced at the lights, especially if you're a bit slow getting off the mark, leave it in forced. If you're the third car or back, I'd suggest handbrake up into neutral, and when it goes green, into first, and when the cars in front start moving, mirror, mirror, handbrake down, and go. That's the way I recommend it. Another question: Can I skip down the? Can I skipping down the gears when going down through the gears? So yes, we call that block changing. We'd use that normally on a faster road. Say if we're coming in, I'm coming onto a roundabout and I'm in fourth gear, I'm going 50 or 60. I'd be on the brake and then I would skip third and into second. If you're going to do that, you have to slow the car down a lot more than you would if you're going to third. Because if you just go from fourth to second without slowing down enough, the car is going to scream at you and jump, and you'll get a mark for gears as well, and probably speed. And last but not least, what gear do I stop in? Good question. You can stop in like second or third. I don't really recommend stopping in fourth, fifth, or sixth. It's not wrong, and you probably wouldn't get marked for doing it once if you had to stop in fourth or fifth. But it would be better if they just on the brake, clutch in, into third, off the clutch, and then on the brake, clutch in and stop. It's a much smoother way because you're demonstrating engine braking as well. So that's it. That's the 10 that came up during the week. I have a few comments here. Please feel free to answer to ask questions. Paula says, observation is the most common fail. It depends what you're struggling with. Position or observation. I often find reaction to hazard is a killer for a lot of people as well, especially when they I don't mean to pick on the reduced EDTs people, but when you only do six EDTs, it means you're glossing over a lot of stuff that the 12 lessons really kind of you can go over a lot in a lot more detail. Reaction to hazards is what you should cover in lesson number six, and that's continuing throughout the next six lessons if you've done your EDTs with me. So it is observation, it's position, and I also find reaction to hazards. So I hope that answers your question, and it is very common, yeah. Just remember your GOSHO and just look where you're going. Observation is all about looking where you're going a lot of the time. Now, hello, Manish. So, would you be able to help with different types of right filter lights and their meaning? Go to my YouTube. It's there already. Turning right at the yellow box junction. It's there for you, bud. And what I done was I dissected a load of test routes and I just took the best bits out of all of them and I explained exactly what I'm doing. So, I'll post that into the Facebook group. I think you're there. I recognize your name. And yeah. Roshane says, what do I think about someone who has already has their license doing extra lessons in cities to when they only learn to drive in smaller towns? Roshane, that's yeah, very admirable. If you want to do extra lessons to improve your safety and improve your skill on the road, who are we to say no? You know what I mean? So, if you feel nervous and you think a lesson in the city centre would help, by all means, it's a great idea. Hello, Jonathan. So this is from Jonathan. I hope that answers your question, Roshane. Thank you. So John says, can't find clear guidance on handling roundabouts like walking sound. For example, taking the fourth exit when you should be in the middle lane or right lane. So I don't know if I've done this on YouTube, but when you're doing roundabouts, you're approaching a roundabout as in it's a clock. We approach from six, and from 6 to 12, we're usually in the left hand side and around the outside. It sounds like the fourth exit in this scenario on Walkinstown is going to be past 12 o'clock or to the right. In this case, we would be in the inside lane and coming around on the inside. And when you get past exit 3, left mirror, left signal, and try and get over to the fourth exit as soon as you can. So there's no confusion about where you're going. Walkinstown is extremely confusing, by the way. I feel your pain on that one. I should have done that when I was in Crumlin, but I'll go back and do that another day. I hope that answered your question, but thank you. So Patrice says, "How you doing, Patrice? How long after you get the invite to book would the dates available to book me in? My estimated 70, my estimated invite date is 70th of June. How long after would the test dates be from then?" Good question. I asked someone, I done a TikTok about this. I think you'll get dates within a few days. Also, one for, and then the maximum is about 2 weeks' time. Remember, in the email, they do say cancel before the 10 working days or 14 days. If you do, you can reschedule it and get a later date. If you feel you're not ready, come off the list before the 14 days, and when you're ready to rejoin, you can rejoin and you won't be waiting too long. The system is pretty good for that now. I hope that answers your question. So, hey, you doing, Coca Cola? So, how do you get a test date quicker? So again, I done a TikTok about this, and what way did I do it again? Oh yeah, I just asked people what they done, and they told me, and I done a TikTok. If it's a retest, before you pay for your test, go on every day or every few hours and just keep refreshing the screen, and the new dates will populate um, as the new ones come in. If I cancel my test today, my date will go back up onto the system maybe later on that night when the system refreshes, you know? So that's the only answer I can give. I don't really know, to be honest. Cheers, John. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much, bud. I really appreciate that. Hello, Kate. How are you doing? I have my exam tomorrow morning in Mulhuddard. Any last minute tips? First of all, best of luck. I hope you do it. Obviously, I hope you do it. There's so many tips that you need to do. Make sure your signs and questions are correct. Hand signals. Make sure make sure you're in good position for what you're doing. Making sure you're looking where you're going for observation. do your GOSHO moving off from a park position. Check your blind spot. It doesn't have to be GOSHO, but just make sure you check your blind spot and you've done your mirror signal and all that stuff. Also, just it has to be good all around. That's basically it. It has to be perfect. So best of luck. I hope that answers your question. So Patrice, we have should expect to do my test by the end of June. Yes, if you have your invitation estimated date for the 17th, you'll get your dates a few days. If you accept it, you'll get your dates a few days later, and you should have it by the end of the month, definitely. And only do it if you're ready. And we're all out questions. Lovely stuff. Well done, everyone. Come here, that was my first live in a while. I would like to do a bit better with that marking sheet guidelines. I don't know if you could read what that said. It looks tiny on my screen. But any other questions before we finish up? Fair play to us for being here on a bank holiday, by the way. That shows true dedication. A new comment, 1 second there. Lovely stuff, Patrice. Thank you so much. And dedicate. Best of luck to you. And yeah, lads, that's it. If you do want to book lessons, I'll leave a link in the description. But apart from that, thank you very much for joining. And I'll see you next week and we'll do it again. So feel free to ask questions during the week on the Facebook group. All right. So thank you so much and best of luck.